Story 1. My girlfriend of 2 years has acquired 3 animals in the span of 12 months, and I am tired. Hi, I'm Kai, 27 male, 5'7", 200 pounds, muscular but loves pasta. Here's my dilemma. I moved in with my partner approximately this time last year. When I met her, she already had a golden retriever and a cat. She went to purchase another cat whilst I was away for an extended period of work, saying that her current cat, Mobro, was lonely. Months down the track, on March 23rd, she says that her golden retriever is lonely and needs a buddy. After some heated arguments and constant questions, we came across a small cavoodle who is now best buds with the golden retriever. This was sufficient for me, and to be frank, just enough to not be ticking over my threshold and capacity for shared care of the animals of whom she would claim it if, the heavens forbid, we ever broke up. Now, come November 2023, her sister, who is now a golden retriever breeder, has encouraged my girlfriend to take one of her puppies to expand the business and utilize the pup as a stud/breeding dog. After expressing to my partner that it's her intent, no, our intent, to settle down and have a family, and with dogs being a 8 to 15 year commitment with lots of dedicated time and financial investment, we would struggle with 5 animals whilst trying to raise a kid. I'm now facing the mental repercussions of needing to wake up early every day to clean. Mind you, I wake up at 5 o'clock, clean for half an hour, which usually involves picking up fecal matter, mopping, sweeping in mixed order prior to leaving the house to drive an hour to work, before coming home at around 1700 to again, then clean, feed the animals. I'm kind of miserable. I've tried to discuss potentially returning the puppy to her sister whilst it's quite young and able to be adopted by another family, so her parents who come to visit us quite often. This has not gone anywhere but the response of, "I love my animals, I would never." Don't get me wrong, I don't hate dogs or cats, but I feel over-encumbered with the amount of animals I have to be partially responsible for. I'm stuck. I'm starting to feel miserable about my life. I'm tired. What can I do? So I absolutely love animals. My partner and I both do. We have 2 dogs and 2 cats. I know I mostly just talk about the dogs and everything, but the cats are here too. They're nice. And they're a lot of work. And we have no plans to have kids. Like, if we also had to have kids on top of that, whew. And the only reason that we're able to easily take care of them is because we both work from home. And so we have the time to do all of that. It's a lot. And the fact that you're having to do all of this cleaning and all this other stuff, like, if she's the one that wanted the animals, is she not also pitching in with this? I don't like that. And also, when people move in together, there have to be understandings and compromise. And if one partner's like, I want more and more animals, and the other partner's like, I can't personally handle that, you need to kind of respect that. And it doesn't sound like she is. And I don't blame you for being stressed, so I'd have some very open and candid conversations about how this is too much for you and you're struggling with it. And if nothing can be reached about that, I don't know what you do. I mean, I have ideas, but I don't want to say it because it seems kind of sad and mean. So, I mean, it's breaking up, but then you don't get to be around the dogs, and that's terrible. Get the dogs. Story 2. I found my father's confession letter 9 years after his death. I am in tears. My father passed away 9 years ago due to a combination of health complications. I didn't keep much of his things after I cleaned out his apartment. The only thing I took was a fire-safe lockbox. I was afraid to open it because my dad's apartment was filled with a lot of things that I wasn't expecting. Yesterday, while organizing my closet, I couldn't stop staring at the box, and for the first time, I opened it. At the top were a bunch of expired credit cards and bank statements. At the very bottom was a manila envelope. I opened it up, and it contained a picture of a toddler that looked like me, but wasn't, and a 2-page letter in his handwriting. The first page was more or less information about his life that I already knew. The second page is what got me. The boy in the picture was my older brother that I never knew about. In the letter, he confessed to me that he and the mother had decided that she would raise the boy in another state. My older brother and his mother, according to the letter, died a year after that picture was taken in a car accident. He never mentally recovered or truly grieved. He met my mom a year and a half after my brother's death, and they got married within the next year. I understand now why my dad had such a hard time showing me affection for so long, and why he fell into bad habits he had helped shorten his life. He was a man in pain, not only from his traumatic childhood, that's a whole other post, but losing your firstborn son. I haven't cried this much in years. It brought out the suppressed tears and pain I felt for losing him years ago. How I wish he had told me all of this while he was living, and how I could have helped if possible. Despite it all, I love my dad. I miss him, and I finally have some clarity and closure on why he was the way he was. I just wanted to get this off my chest. That's pretty heartbreaking, to know that he was living with that, but never letting it out. And, I'm certain it does explain things about him. And it makes you wonder about all the things, the people you've met in your life that you don't know what they might be quietly holding on to that is affecting them. Now, granted, this is never an excuse if they are abusive or anything like that. It's an explanation, not an excuse. And you hate to hear about that kind of stuff. And I certainly hope he was never that way. It just sounds like he quietly struggled with stuff. And I think that's a pretty good lesson about seeking therapy and opening up about stuff, even if it is really hard, because holding on to those things typically isn't all that healthy. I mean, all of you do whatever you want. I'm not a therapist. I have no right to tell you what to do, but I will just say that holding on to these heartbreaking secrets isn't a good way to get over them. Like, pushing them to the back of your mind, they're still there, festering, and it's not dealing with them. So, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to say that. I hope this person's doing all right after finding all that out. Story 3. I can't prop the door open. Alrighty then. Been sitting on this story for a few months now. I work for a small moving company in my city. We move furniture and decor to many different places throughout the city. We got a call about moving a large load of bookshelves to a rather large industrial building. We loaded up 2 18-foot box trucks full of shelves and were ready to move. When we arrived at the building, we pulled around to the loading dock and began offloading the shelves. As we were bringing stuff off the truck, I went to building security to open the door. There had been a recent string of shootings in our area, and everyone was locking all the doors. They handed me a doorstop and told me I could prop the door open since we have a large load. So I propped the door open, and we got going. We no longer had the first pallet off the truck when the building's maintenance manager came running towards us. He screamed at us, "What are you doing? You cannot have that door propped open!" Now, this man looked like he was somewhere between the ages of 76 and 105. He was as red as I've ever seen anyone. I calmly told him that security gave me a doorstop and told me since we have such a large load, we could keep the door propped open. Of course, he wasn't having it. "I don't care what security told you, you cannot have this door propped open." At this point, my Native American temper got the best of me. I replied, "Yes, sir." I walked over to the door and picked up the doorstop. I walked back to security and explained the situation. They rolled their eyes and explained that this crotchety old fossil is always causing problems all over the building. They told me I could still prop the door open, but now I was mad and was feeling petty. He doesn't want us to prop the door open? Alrighty then. There was a buzzer outside of the door, so I buzzed security asking them if they could open the door. Well, guess whose office was right by said door, and thus guess who security called to open the door and let us in? That's right, Fossil Man, that was 2 days older than dirt. He opened the door and let us in. We made our delivery and came back to grab another pallet. I again buzzed security, and they again asked the Fossil Man to let us in. This happened twice more before he stopped me and said, "If you wanted to keep that door open, you can since you have such a big load." I replied with the biggest smile on my face, "Oh no, sir, this door cannot be propped open. I wouldn't want to upset anyone by doing that." He looked at me with a look on his face that was somewhere between murderous and the realization that he had made a huge mistake. 18 pallets later, we had the load delivered, and every single time, guess who had to let us in? It took us a little over 2 hours to get everything finished. The last pallet we delivered, I poked my head into the Fossil Man's office and said, "Thank you so much for your help." I'm pretty sure he popped a blood vessel. Some people just want you to have to follow every little rule that they lay down, of course until it inconveniences them. If anyone else is inconvenienced by their stern rules, well, to hell with them. Those are the rules and that's how it is. The moment it inconveniences someone like that, even a little bit, then all of a sudden, oh, no, we can bend the rules this time because I wouldn't want to have to deal with the repercussions of my a-holishness. Heaven forbid! I do want to like old people. I like a lot of old people, but there's some real crotchety old farts that I just don't like. Story 4. Do not mess with me at Costco. A couple weeks ago, after checking out at Costco, I was doing the normal routine for loading purchased items into the vehicle. I quickly and efficiently transferred everything from the cart to the bags in the back seat of my truck. This usually takes me about 90 seconds to do before returning the cart. I don't like to hold strangers up and generally want to get home and swim around in my Costco purchases like a middle-aged Scrooge McDuck. Halfway through said process, some guy pulls up behind my truck and puts on his signal, intending to take my space as soon as I'm done. No problem, I'm moving fast. But then this jerk has the audacity to look impatient after about 3 seconds and vigorously waves for me to hurry up. Seriously, dude, you just got here and are trying to rush me? My process is flawless, and you have the gall to act like I need to hop to your tune? This triggered my pettiness. I'm sorry, my dude, but I'm no longer in control of what happens. This is between you and petty me now. I'm just an innocent bystander. So I immediately stopped my fast and efficient process of packing the vehicle and switched to molasses mode. I slowly moved every item in, one at a time. I pulled out a bag of seaweed snacks and started to look over the top of my glasses to really examine it. I slowly read its description out loud. Then I looked around as if to find a bystander to discuss this purchase with. I resumed. More items went in. When he looked like he was about to give up, I acted like I was done. Then discovered, nope, more items still in the cart. I drug this on for about 5 minutes, making him wallow in place, trapped by the sunken cost of how long he'd already waited. I'm now done and getting behind the wheel. He seemed relieved, like the blood vessel he was about to rupture with impotent rage was finally easing. So I backed my truck up. Slowly. I stop, pull forward to reposition, and then slowly back again. I'm channeling my inner Colin Robinson to make this process as excruciating as possible. I backed up slowly, far more than I needed, until he thought I was going to hit him and started to honk, and finally I drove away. I know this doesn't compare to most petty stuff on here, but it amuses me, and I wanted to share. I don't blame this person one tiny bit, because I've only been to Costco a couple times in my life with friends and family members who have Costco memberships, because I don't. And the reason I don't is because that store stresses me out so much. I cannot stand the energy that people bring to a Costco, and it absolutely starts in the parking lot. I go to all kinds of different grocery stores because different grocery stores have different benefits and different prices on better stuff. Literally, there's like 7 grocery stores in my bi-weekly rotation. Okay, just leave me alone. None of them even come remotely close to how stressful people are in the Costco parking lot. Not to mention how some folks are inside of the Costco. People have, they are constantly on, Black Friday sales mode, where they're just, I need to get my stuff, get out of my way, Costco, I need the deals. I can't, I just can't with that place. It's too much. They got some really good deals, though. Story 5. 50 years old, and my in-laws told me we're a guest in their home. We've been married for 15 years and are about 50 years old. We were told that we are guests in their home and might not be invited back if we do not ask 3 times before sitting down if they need anything else. When we visit, we cook, clean, and wait on them hand and foot. Meanwhile, they have a staff of house cleaners, lawn guys, and assorted other staff when we're not there or when other siblings visit. We work full-time jobs and make good money, but when we take vacation time to visit, we're treated like hired help. Not to mention that they hire people to clean before and after the siblings leave. We took 2-week vacations, and they invited 8 of their friends and expected us to cook, clean, do laundry, fix drinks, and wait on them. Then tell us we are guests. Why don't they expect the same of their other guests? Not only that, they complain if it's not done to their standards. They never ask, they demand. While I enjoy spending time with them and helping out, it's not fun to spend our vacation time being their hired help. It doesn't feel like vacation. If my spouse gets fed up and comes up with excuses not to visit, they throw money at him to try and buy him back. They dangle money as a carrot and we ignore it. So they give big gifts, like homes, to the siblings and their kids as revenge. We don't have kids, we have dogs. The treatment of us versus the siblings is way skewed. How do we approach this narcissistic and unfair treatment? What the hell is happening in this story? I can't relate to these people at all. Why are you going there? I don't care if they're family. If my family, whom I love very much, treated me like that, and they were like, if you don't ask us 3 times before sitting, we'll not invite you back, I would be like, I don't want to come back. This is terrible. There's no one that I appreciate spending time with enough to become their servant for a few weeks. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. I have no advice for these people because they're rich people with servants and they buy people houses as gifts. I can't relate to this at all. I hate all of this. I don't like this. No one gets any advice here. Deal with it yourself. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.